Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my first video, so welcome to this little place on the internet. I'm so excited to be here. I feel like this has been something on my heart for a long time. I've wanted to start YouTube for a long time, and I'm just grateful to be here. And yeah, so let's get started. So just a little bit about my channel. So some of the things that you can expect from my channel is I'm going to be talking about faith-related videos, things that I love, things that I'm really passionate about, and so it's not going to be just one thing, but I'm just so excited to finally be able to share with you guys and just share my heart on a lot of things. I feel like we are in a time where there's just a lot of darkness in the world, and if we can bring a little bit of light, a little bit of positivity in the world, why not? I've always believed in that. I've always believed in, spreading light and being a light in a dark place. So that's kind of like what my channel is going to be. So it'll be a lot of faith related lifestyle videos and things that I'm into, and also some beauty here and there. So I'm just excited. So one of the things that I want to talk about here, being a young believer in the world, things like that. I just want to talk about things that are really special to me, special to my heart, and also to help you guys on your journey with the Lord. And I think that's something that's really been on my heart, as well as some beauty videos, some lifestyle, day in the life, things like that. Day in life of, I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship and yeah, so that's what you can expect from my channel. Just a lot of chatty videos and fun videos that I hope can inspire some of you. And so yeah, I'm excited for it. And if you like what you hear, I just ask you to please subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a lot more coming. So yeah, is being vulnerable with God. Vulnerable with God. So what does it really mean to be vulnerable with God? So something that I learned along my faith journey, which I would love to share that with you guys one day, of how my life changed the moment I was saved, and just like my journey with the Lord. My journey with the Lord has been a pretty bumpy road. I want to say I was apart from the Lord for many years. So in that time, I went through a lot of heartaches and a lot of just pain, because I was living outside of God's will, and I was so heartbroken. But once I came to the Lord, my life completely changed. And I've learned, one thing that I've learned is that even when you're saved, you're going to struggle with a lot of things. Even more probably than before, because once you're saved, the enemy is not happy about it, obviously, because now you are following the Lord, you're living in His will, you're surrendering to Him, right? You are trying to have a relationship with God and grow with the Lord. So the enemy is not going to be happy. So it's going to be a time where, the things you struggled with before you were saved, you probably will still struggle with them, and you have to work through those things. So one of the things that I've learned on my walk with the Lord is there is strength in being vulnerable. It's basically, coming to God and saying, God, I struggle with these things. It's really hard for me. And, but I want to give it to, I want to lay it at your feet, God, and I need you to help me in this area, and it's just that, that heart posture, right? Like, God, like, I struggle so much with this, but I just want to give it to you because I want you to help me. I want to let you in, because sometimes I feel like we put like a wall up, right? And we just don't want to be vulnerable, and we kind of want to just hide, these things that we struggle with. But until you don't bring them to light, how can God heal those areas? How can God heal something that you want to like hide from him. He's everywhere and he knows everything, but he wants us to come to him with it and say, and let him in, because God's a gentleman. He's only gonna come in as much as we let him. Shine light in those dark areas is where God begins to work on them, right? So I'm gonna give you guys an example. I've struggled with depression for a really long time. I feel like it's been something that I've always dealt with, but I never really worked on it or brought it to God and said, God, I really struggle with this. I feel sad a lot of the times. I don't feel like doing anything most of the times. And it wasn't until I was consciously like, okay, I have, there's something that I'm really struggling with, right? And it wasn't until I shined light on it, right, that God can begin to work in those painful areas, those areas that are just painful. Whenever I talk about mental health and things like that, is just, I instantly get so emotional, right? Because that's an area that's really, really sensitive for me, right? It's an area of pain. It's an area of like, it's a dark area, and it's easier to just brush it off and to go day by day. But how can I live to my fullest potential, right? How can I live the life that God, ordained for me, if I'm not willing to lay that at God's feet and say, God, like, I struggle in this area, so you have to shine light in those dark areas, and it's painful and it's uncomfortable, and and a lot of times there's a lot of guilt that comes with it, right? Because a lot of times for me it was like, okay, I struggle with depression, but why do I struggle with depression? I'm a Jesus girl. Like, I love God, and I'm usually really happy, like, when I'm around people. So one of the things for me was like, there's just a lot of guilt, right? Guilt on, why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't feel like this. I'm a Christian girl. I'm a Jesus girl. I believe in God. I pray, I read my Bible, I do this, I that. Why, there's a lot of guilt, but I want you guys to know that that guilt and that shame is not from God. That's not from God. That's from the enemy. Whenever you feel guilt and shame because of something that you're dealing with, that doesn't come from God. Because what comes from God is he wants to convict us, right? He wants to work on those things, right? And God isn't a God that shames us into, changing. He does it in such a loving, kind way. That's how God operates. So until we know that, we know God's, true character, and know that, if there's guilt, if I'm feeling guilt because of how I'm feeling, that's not coming from God. That's coming from the enemy. So that's something that I really wanted to point out. But there's so much more that I want to say. There's so much more that I want to say about, being vulnerable with God. But I'm going to cover that next time. And happy to be here. I'm happy to be opening my heart to you guys. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this. And I'll be back with more videos. Bye.